LEGO's May 4th event is on the cusp of ending. I hope you all had a great May 4th week with you. I hope you all had fun building lots of LEGO and watching Star Wars, as I know that's what I did. I'm not sure about you. Anyway, I've been doing a complete haul on my TikTok, and I'm doing reviews of all these sets that I got this week. I already posted my review of the U-Wing and also the gift with purchase, and reviews of the other 3 sets I got will be coming out in the next few days. And I am very happy with all these sets that I got to get over the 145 threshold of the gift with purchase. And last year I did the same. I spent £145 and I got over the threshold to get the gift with purchase. And I will be doing a comparison of the gift with purchases in a separate video. But in this video we are going to be doing a complete comparison between my 2024 haul and my 2025 haul. This will be based off of 6 different factors. Each time you get either 2 or 1 point. Overall display ability, overall playability, the set quality, the quantity of the products, the value of the products, and the minifigures. In 2024, I got 8 products, so we could already tick off a box there. So 2 points goes to 2024 and 1 point to 2025. And this means that now 2024 has a 2-1 advantage. Anyway, once again, I got 8 products in 2024 and 5 in 2025. Starting with the AAT Polybag, the Commander Cody Brickhead, the actual gift with purchase itself, the Great Drade Federation Troop Carrier, the Invisible Hand, the Sith Infiltrator, and the Bark Speeder Escape. Quite a nice collection of sets that I was very happy to build, and I just remember the day. It was a very fond memory for me. In 2025, however, I got 5 sets, including the ARC 170, the Star Wars logo, the Millennium Falcon Polybag, the gift with purchase being the Kamino training facility, and also the Rebel U-Wing Starfighter. By the way, in 2024, I did get a keychain, which I have included in the overall, the quantity of products, but I have lost that now, so I guess you could kind of knock it down to 7, but either way, we get 2 points for 2024 there, and 1 point for 2025 in terms of quantity. Now let's move on to Section 1, well, now Section 2, the overall displayability. I think the Sith Infiltrator is a really nice set to display, but it doesn't really look good on a stand in my opinion, whereas the U-Wing, which I will be doing a full comparison between those 2 sets, as I just think those 2 fit well together in a comparison. Anyway, I feel the U-Wing looks absolutely amazing on a display stand, whereas the Sith Infiltrator doesn't. So I like having my displays in a more dynamic look, so for that the U-Wing wins that comparison. Same for the ARC 170, I love having that one on a stand. The Polybags was definitely better in 2024, however, and I actually like to display this one, whereas I'm probably just going to throw this one into a box. The Star Wars logo is definitely an absolutely amazing display piece for 2025, whereas last year I got the Invisible Hand, and I also got the Clone Commander Cody Brickhead, so they were my display sets for that year. So I do think it is really close, but I like the fact that I can give my 2025 sets a more dynamic look, whereas with the 2024 sets I can't really do that, so that's why I'm going to give 2 points to 2025 and 1 to 2024. This means that things are level pegging at 3-3. Overall playability is definitely a tricky one. The Trade Federation has some great play features which I covered in my review of this set a few days ago, and including you can actually take off this back section and have better access to your droids. They can also fold down, and then there's also it's really easy to swing around. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just a very fun playset. The Sith Infiltrator has the dropping the probes function, which is a super fun play feature, especially for kids. And then you can also load them back up into this hatch right here, which I just find really fun. Also, the Sith Infiltrator has the ability to put the Darth Maul into the cockpit with his speeder on it, and then it's just a really fun closing mechanism. So again, I think the Sith Infiltrator does get a couple points for that. The display sets have no actual playability, and the fact that most of my price was from the display sets does kind of mark it down a little bit. And then also the Bark Speeder Escape has no real function, as you can't even spin around the actual sidecar like you can in the other Clone Wars shows. But the Sith Infiltrator and the Trade Federation Troop Carrier definitely give this some props. Anyway, all 5 of these sets that I got have play features, except for the Polybag, that don't really count. Although I will say for the 2024 Polybag, it can spin around and you can also lift this up, so that also gets another point. So I'm leaning towards 2024 for this section, but let's take a look at the 2025 play features. On the Star Wars logo, there's a bit of an Easter egg. If you take off the top of the T, you can see a Tantive and a Star Destroyer. Of course, they aren't to scale, as it is at a literally microscopic scale, 3 pieces, and that's 5 pieces, so that's fair enough. But it's a super fun play feature to take that off and then have a look inside. It's a very nice Easter egg, and it made the building a much more fun experience. The ARC 170's wings can open up like an X-Wing, except you can also put in 3 troops, which I find really fun as well. So the ARC 170 definitely gets massive points for playability. The Kamino training facility build, the main Enforcer ship, can actually spin around these engines here, so you can have it in a landing position, or it's flying upwards, or at an angle. It's really fun to mess around with that as well. My favourite display is definitely like that. Anyway, the U-Wing is definitely where most of the playability functionality is in the 2025 wave. Firstly, you can open up the cockpit by tipping on that and then doing that. It's like the boot of a car. But the main play feature is the ability to put the wings into this position. It kind of makes it look like a Y in that sort of way. And I have a lot of fun just mixing it between this formation and the main U formation. The U-wing also has an interior with 4 different access points, the 2 main doors, one at the back, and a loading ramp at the front that doesn't really work well, but it's there. So I am really on the fence between the playability, so let me know in the comments below who you think wins that comparison. But I think this one goes to 2025, meaning that 2025 gets 2 points for just playability, and 2024 gets 1 point for playability. Now on to set quality. The Commander Cody brickhead is near perfect, same for the AAT polybag. The Trade Federation troop carrier has no subjective flaws. But again, though that's subjective, I really like this set. I don't think it has any flaws, but you may think it does. The main flaws with this wave, this haul, for me, is this Bark Speeder Escape set. It's just not very good value. But we'll get onto that into the actual value portion, but I do think this is a quality Bark Speeder, except that it's a bit oversized. The Sith Infiltrator is definitely an amazing quality set, same for the Invisible Hand. They are definitely carrying this haul in terms of quality, but the Sith Infiltrator does have the miscolouring on the dark grey on the cockpit area, and the Invisible Hand's a lot of details comes from stickers. Also, I did forget to mention in the playability section, you can snap it in half, but I still think 2025 wins. Coming back to set quality, when it comes to 2025, the ARC 170 is definitely not as good as it could have been. These stickers are absolutely atrocious. Same for these turrets here. In actual images, we can see that it comes out all the way, basically the length of the ship, so these definitely could do with being a lot bigger and more bulky. The Millennium Falcon polybag definitely isn't as good as the AAT polybag from 2024, but it's still a nice little polybag, so I guess there's no really flaws there, except for the fact that it doesn't have the printed cockpit, so in my opinion, that definitely gets points down for the 2025. The Star Wars logo is near perfect, and the U-wing is near perfect as well, except for the miscolouring on the cockpit and Dedra. But we'll talk about Dedra and the other minifigures when we come to the minifigs portion. The Kamino and Enforcer ship is basically perfect as well, and that's why I'm going to give 2 points to 2025 and 1 point to 2024, meaning that now the 2024 haul has a 2-point gap, meaning our scores go from 4-3 to 6-4 to 2025. This is where it could change for 2024 and 2025 though, because we are onto the value segment. There's the only overpriced set in this wave is definitely the Bark Speeder Escape. This should be £20, not £25. But in the ARC 170, I think that's a bit overpriced. That's £60. Should be maybe 55 or 50. As this is a £60 set. This is a £60 set. This is also a £60 set. And I just don't see them being the same price. I mean, realistically, this could be 70, and then this would make more sense at 60. But obviously, if this is a £60 set in 2025, why is this also a £60 set? The Star Wars logo is pretty good. Maybe it could be 55, but it's £60 is a very good price. But LEGO value the Kamino Enforcer at £26, which I just don't see. I see maybe like 20 to 24, I'd say. I don't see £26 of value with the Kamino Enforcer ship. And this is all why I'm going to give 2024 2 points and 2025 1 point. But I will say I did manage to get a nice £25 savings with the VIP points. But this one was also very close though, because there are not really many bad valued sets except for the Bark Speeder Escape. And then in 2025, the only overpriced set is the ARC 170, which isn't even really that badly priced. So really, neither of them are bad value. It's just that I'm leaning towards 2024 a bit more than 2025. This means that 2024 has reduced the 2-point deficit to now 1 point, bringing the scores to 7-6 to the 2025 wave. Quick surprise category is now the building experience. I had a much more fun experience with 2024 than I did 2025. Building these was super fun, but the experience of my first ever May 4th haul, it's definitely miles better than my second, to be honest. So even though these are better sets in my opinion, this is definitely one that I had more fun with. And even though I'm sure these ones will look much better on my shelves, and I think these are better sets, more excited by them, but the feeling of my first ever May 4th haul cannot be matched. And that means that 2024 has closed the 2-point deficit and made it level pegging at 8-8. Moving on to our final category, which is minifigs, and this is where it could all change. 2024 has more minifigs that I am excited by. Kylo and Beck and Saw Gerrera are the standouts, but also Qui-Gon Jinn, which is now worth £150, because I did get the reddish-brown variant. So you only got 8 minifigures in this haul though, but there were also 8 battle droids. So the 8 battle droids do definitely give it some points. I am very excited by the Clone Cadets though. I do absolutely love those minifigures, as they are amazing quality. Same for the Clone Pilots and the R4P44 minifigure. The U-wing has some great minifigures as well. The only flaw is Dedra's legs. as otherwise this is a perfect minifigure lineup and perfect minifigure quality. So it's really difficult for me to decide. I was originally leaning towards 2024, as there were just more minifigures that I was excited by. I love the Jedi and I love Saw Gerrera, but there are just so many clone troopers to add to my army in 2025 haul, and then there's also Dedra, so like Imperial Army as well. And then I don't even know what to do with this one, as I got a total of 11 minifigures in the 2025 and 8 minifigures in 2024, not including 8 battle droids. So this does make it extremely difficult for me to choose between the 2024 wave and the 2025 wave. But I think I'm going to go to 2 points to 2025 and 1 point to 2024, meaning that overall 2025 wins this comparison 10 points to 9. But it was extremely close, and 2025 does win this comparison. Anyway, let me know what sets you got in 2024, let me know what sets you got in 2025, and thanks for watching, bye.